Do you like mysteries? To wander through the enigmatic mist of the inexplicable? Great. I'm Merc, and here you'll find what you're looking for. Welcome to my domains. The truth dissolves into the mist.
K. The last time anyone saw Nancy Guthrie alive, she was walking toward her front door in Tucson, Arizona, carrying a small bag of groceries. That was on the evening of February 1st, 2026. By the next morning, her bed hadn't been slept in, her reading glasses were still on the kitchen table, and the back door was slightly ajar. What happened inside that house remains one of the most disturbing missing person cases in recent American history. You know Savannah Guthrie, the face of the Today Show, warm, polished, professional. But imagine waking up to a text from the Tucson Police Department saying your 84-year-old mother has vanished into thin air. No struggle, no blood, no sign of forced entry. Just a missing elderly woman and a single piece of digital evidence that would turn this into a national obsession. A Ring doorbell camera captured a figure at 11:47 p.m., a tall person, completely covered in black, with what looks like a smooth, featureless mask. No reflection, no eyes visible, no skin at all. The figure approaches the door, stands there for exactly 47 seconds, then turns and walks away. Nancy Guthrie is never seen again. Let me ask you something. If you had a camera pointed at your front door, and the masked stranger stood there for almost a minute, wouldn't you expect them to knock, or break in, or at least look around? This one didn't do any of that. The figure simply stood motionless, as if waiting for something, or someone, and then it left. No rush, no panic, no violence recorded. Just a ghost in fabric standing in the dry Arizona heat. That single clip has been viewed over 200 million times across social media platforms, and it answers nothing. Nancy Guthrie was not an ordinary 84-year-old. She was sharp, independent, and physically active. She walked 2 miles every morning, managed her own finances, and volunteered at a local church thrift store twice a week. Neighbors describe her as cautious, even a little suspicious of strangers. She never opened the door after dark without checking the peephole first. So the idea that she willingly opened her door to a masked individual at nearly midnight contradicts everything everyone knew about her. Unless, of course, she recognized who was under that mask. The FBI joined the investigation within 48 hours, not because of her age, but because of her daughter's public profile. Savannah Guthrie released an emotional statement on air, not as a journalist, but as a daughter. She broke down describing the last phone call with her mother, a routine check-in about a recipe for lemon cake. That call ended at 9:15 p.m. 2.5 hours later, the masked figure appeared. The timeline is tight, claustrophobic. Someone was watching that house. Someone knew Nancy was alone. And someone had the precision to avoid triggering any other camera in the neighborhood. Here is where the case takes its first truly bizarre turn. During the second week of the search, cadaver dogs alerted near a dry wash about 400 yards behind Nancy's property. Investigators dug carefully, expecting to find evidence of her disappearance. Instead, they unearthed human bones, but not recent bones. These were ancient, brittle, and deeply stained by centuries of desert minerals. Forensic anthropologists from the University of Arizona dated the remains to approximately 3,200 years old, an entire prehistoric burial site completely unrelated to Nancy Guthrie. The media went wild. Headlines read "Missing Mother," "Ancient Bones," and "A Masked Phantom." But for the family, it was just another cruel distraction. You might think that a case involving a famous family, a masked intruder, and a nationwide FBI manhunt would generate solid leads. And it did. Over 18,000 tips flooded the tip line. 18,000 people called from all 50 states and 14 different countries. But here is the chilling reality. Not a single tip has led to an arrest, a suspect, or even a credible sighting of Nancy Guthrie after that night. 18,000 leads, 0 results. That is statistically almost impossible. Unless the people who know what happened are not talking, or unless what happened is so far outside normal investigation parameters that no one knows how to look for it. The family raised the reward to $1 million. $1 million for information leading to Nancy's safe return. That kind of money usually cracks cases wide open. Former spouses turn on each other. Neighbors remember strange details. Anonymous letters appear. But in this case, silence. The only person who could have seen something, the next-door neighbor, 76-year-old Harold Finn, told police he heard nothing unusual that night. No car, no voices, no footsteps, just the sound of coyotes in the distance. And when officers asked if he recognized the masked figure from the Ring video, Harold paused for 4 seconds, then said, "I can't be sure." That pause has haunted internet detectives ever since. Savannah Guthrie has stopped hosting the Today Show indefinitely. Her network has been respectful, even protective, but behind the scenes, sources say she is poring over every detail of the investigation herself. She has reportedly hired a private forensic team, a former CIA officer, and a digital analyst who specializes in deepfake and facial recognition. Because there is one question that refuses to die. Was the masked figure a real person, or a projection, a costume, or something deliberately designed to look inhuman? The Ring footage has been analyzed by 3 different labs. All agree, no digital manipulation. That mask was real, and whoever wore it knew exactly where the camera was. 4 months. That is how long Nancy Guthrie has been missing. For months without a single credible sighting, without a ransom note, without a demand of any kind. That is not how a professional kidnapping works. Professional kidnappers want money, leverage, or attention. Nancy Guthrie's family offered $1 million within 2 weeks. Nothing. Her daughter is one of the most recognizable journalists on the planet. Nothing. The silence is so complete that investigators have begun whispering about theories they would never repeat on the record. Theories involving human trafficking, mistaken identity, and even something called pharmaceutical abduction, where victims are sedated and moved across borders inside medical transport vehicles. But there is another theory, darker and much stranger, that has gained traction on underground forums and even among some retired FBI profilers. What if the masked figure was not there to take Nancy Guthrie, but to prepare her for something? Think about the 47 seconds of stillness. No knocking, no breaking, no apparent interaction. What if that figure was a signal, a marker, or a psychological trigger? Reports have surfaced, unconfirmed, that Nancy Guthrie had been acting slightly off in the weeks before her disappearance. A friend told investigators that Nancy mentioned feeling watched during her morning walks. A grocery store cashier recalled her buying 2 cans of pepper spray, unusual for an 84-year-old woman who had never owned any before. Was Nancy afraid of someone she knew, or of something she could not explain? But the ancient bones found near her property continue to fuel speculation. Some online sleuths have pointed out that the burial site was not random. It was located exactly where a small footpath meets an old cattle trail, a route that Nancy Guthrie used for her morning walks. She walked past those buried bones every single day for over a decade. Did she know they were there? Did she ever find something, a fragment, an artifact, that someone wanted back? This sounds like fiction, I know, but the FBI has quietly requested the full archaeological report from the university, and they have not said why. Savannah Guthrie has made only 2 public statements since February. The first was a plea for her mother's safe return. The second, released just last week, was a warning. She said, Someone out there knows where my mother is, and to that person, I say, the $1 million is still available. But more importantly, my family's patience is not infinite. We will find you. That is not the language of a grieving daughter waiting for a miracle. That is the language of someone who has seen evidence the public has not. What did Savannah see in the full police file? What detail has been kept from the press to protect the investigation? Let me ask you directly. Have you ever watched a true crime story where the victim simply vanishes without a single piece of physical evidence? No DNA, no tire tracks, no fibers, no witnesses, no digital footprint. That is where this case stands. The Arizona desert is merciless. It preserves bones for thousands of years, as the ancient remains proved. But it also swallows everything else. A body left in that heat would be reduced to skeletal remains within weeks. And yet, even with drones, heat sensors, and hundreds of volunteer searchers, nothing. No clothing, no personal effects, no trace of Nancy Guthrie at all. The masked figure remains the only real clue, and that figure has become a kind of dark celebrity. Replicas of the mask have been sold online. TikTok users reenact the 47-second stare. But in Tucson, near Nancy's neighborhood, people have started keeping their porch lights on all night. Neighbors who used to leave doors unlocked now have security systems with panic buttons. Because the most terrifying aspect of this case is not the mask, it is the randomness. Nancy Guthrie was not rich, not a target for ransom, not involved in anything illegal, and not known to have any enemies. She was an 84-year-old widow who loved lemon cake, morning walks, and her daughter. And yet someone, or something, came to her door in the dead of night, stood there for less than a minute, and erased her from the world. The FBI has officially classified this as a suspicious disappearance with potential foul play, but unofficially, agents have started using a different term. They call it a clean vacuum. That means a crime scene with no forensic value, no struggle, no transfer evidence, and no digital breadcrumbs. It takes years of planning, military-level discipline, or something much more disturbing. It takes intimate knowledge of the victim's routines, fears, and blind spots. Which brings us back to the neighbor, Harold Finn. His 4-second pause when asked about the mask. His house has a clear line of sight to Nancy's front door, and his security camera was conveniently not working that night. He says he forgot to replace the batteries. Police have not named him a suspect, but they have not cleared him either. As of today, May 9th, 2026, Nancy Guthrie has been missing for 98 days. The reward stands at $1 million. The Ring video has been enhanced, slowed down, and run through every algorithm available. And the masked figure remains a silhouette without a soul. Savannah Guthrie has reportedly moved her family to an undisclosed location. She has not returned to television. Friends say she spends hours each day looking at old photos of her mother, trying to remember if Nancy ever mentioned a name, a place, or a fear that now seems prophetic. What happened to Nancy Guthrie? I wish I could tell you. But the truth is, 4 months into one of the most heavily investigated missing person cases in modern history, no one knows. Not the FBI, not the family, not the thousands of amateur detectives who have dissected every frame of that doorbell footage. The only certainty is that someone, somewhere, knows what that masked figure wanted. And until that person speaks, Nancy Guthrie remains a ghost in the desert, a mystery wrapped in black fabric, and a question that will not go away. If you know anything, even something small, you know where to call. And if you are the one who stood at that door, just know that the world is still watching, and the camera never blinks.
Did you like this mystery? And what is your theory? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed it, then like and share. I'm Merc, And I'll be waiting for you in the next mystery.